The day finally came in which I was able to watch this beautiful movie called Robot Dreams. And yeah, I mean the title of this, I think this movie should have won over The Boy and the Heron from Studio Ghibli when they were competing for Best Animated Picture. Since this movie is very recent, you have a bit of a spoiler warning right now because I can't go into much of the things I liked about the story without going into the theme, which relates to the ending of the film. So yeah, beware, spoilers ahead. I think this whole theme of moving past a relationship is very beautifully treated in the film. At first, both the protagonists show this wanting of being with the other, even if the whole conflict of the film doesn't allow for that to happen. Every single dream sequence in which each of them thinks they are going to the other, finding the other, is beautifully treated, and it shows an evolution from the first to the next one. And I thought that was really well done. Since the movie doesn't have dialogue, you have to visually communicate what the characters are thinking, what they want to do, and that's a huge challenge that the movie pulls off flawlessly. I love that the music wasn't generally diegetic. If you don't know what that means, it's basically sound that comes from within the world the movie's taking place in. For instance, regular soundtrack is usually music you hear that someone's playing over whatever's happening, but the characters can't hear that music. Whilst diegetic stuff, they would be able to hear. I also think there were some awesome shots, like there were very interesting framing, and to be able to do that in animation requires a ton of work, especially in 2D, because if you're gonna create multiple shots in the same place, you need to create the backgrounds corresponding to the perspective the camera will be looking through. It would be interesting to know how many backgrounds were made for the film. One of my favorite shots was the fourth wall break. The character basically dreamed that it was in a screen. That was great. I love that. I found it interesting how many brands and props were just the real thing. I don't know how licensing works for animation, but I didn't know how many knockups there were. I think I saw at least one. Or maybe I'm wrong and every single brand was like licensed and stuff. Thinking back to the whole story, I think that the dog is rich. You don't see any other person with one of these robots, and when the character that finds the robot in the end sees him, he's very surprised. It's like, what is this doing in the trash? So yeah, I think he has some sort of secret business and he has a ton of money. Overall, I really love the film. As I said, I think this should have won the Oscar, but the Oscars are just politics, so yeah, who cares? It won a lot of even more prestigious awards in that year. So yeah, that was my animated film from Spain. You can suggest another country in the comments. The only rule is not US films, and hopefully not one of a country I've already done this week. See ya!